So I want to just explain a little bit about why I believe that the advice of eating less and moving more, if you want to sustainably shed the weight that's unnecessary for you, is the worst advice that you could possibly follow. Because eating less and moving more is all about this idea of a calorie deficit, creating an energy deficit within the body. The idea being that if you consume less energy and you use more energy, the difference between the two, your body goes into your fat stores, utilizes the energy, and you shed weight. And that is what happens in the short term. But in the long term, something different actually happens. So we've all been there before. I'm sure you've been on a new diet and you think, gosh, this is working. First couple of weeks, you're absolutely delighted because you are sticking to the plan and you're starting to see the scales move. Somewhere around maybe the 3-4 week mark, what actually happens is that your brain detects that consistent reduction in energy in. And your brain's job is to keep you from harm and stop you from dying. So your brain detects that reduction in energy in, and it, believe it or not, thinks you're slipping into some kind of famine state. At this point, your brain does two things. First of all, it increases the hunger hormone ghrelin. So it's not your imagination that about a month into your new diet, you actually start to feel hungrier and hungrier. Your brain is trying to redress that calorie balance. And at the same time, it starts to slow down your metabolism. Now, lots to say about metabolism, but metabolism basically is how your body creates, uses, and ultimately stores energy within the body. And so your brain slowing that down, it's actually going to slow down the amount of energy in that you need to take on board. So around about that month period, you've been doing quite well, you're quite pleased with yourself, you've been being really good, and then you get on the scales and there's no change. You're literally like, nothing's happening. Okay, double down next week and make sure that these scales move. And you get back on next week and you're like, oh, still nothing. Okay, absolutely. Give it everything you've got, get to the gym, absolutely cane it, reduce down your calories as much as you can. You get on the scales, you put on half a pound. And at this point you're thinking, how the hell is this even possible? I have not given my body an extra calorie. How is it producing fat out of nothing? It isn't. Your body has gone into some sort of a survival mode at that point. And because your hunger hormones are high and your metabolism is low, what very often happens at this point, when what I call, and excuse me, I am about to swear here, the fuck it genie comes out of the bottle, where you've been being so very good, you've been so restrictive, you've been so consistent with going to the gym, going to your classes, weighing and measuring everything. And for what? To gain a half a pound? And your brain will be like, do you know what? No, to hell with that. I am eating what I want tonight, this weekend. And your hunger hormones are higher than they were before you started the diet. Your metabolism is slower. So you eat more food than you would have done before the diet, and you store more of the food as fat. So you've had your little weekend blowout, you get on the scales and you put on 2 to 3 pounds. And you think, oh my God, that took me the best part of a month to shift that, and I've put it back on over the weekend. Have you been there before? Because I'm telling you now, I know I have, and I know that week in, week out, I am meeting women who have found themselves in exactly this yo-yo pattern. They keep believing this flawed sense of science that eating less and moving more is the way to shed weight. It is different depending on how much weight you have to shed, how long you have held your weight, what sex you are, what age you are you menstruating, are you menopausal, all of those factors. Because here's the thing, when it comes to shedding the weight that's unnecessary for you and keeping it shed, the thing you need to pay more attention to isn't calories, it's hormones. You need to start to eat and move in a way that's about nourishing your body and your brain, about building muscle, about being metabolically active, not about undermining, all about replenishing and nourishing.